Hello everyone, welcome back to another video. Today I'm doing a Battleground tier list video. I asked you guys in the community tab if you guys wanted me to do a video on this, and you guys said yes. So keep in mind, this is opinion based. Everybody's tastes are different. If you've been around my channel, you guys probably already know where I'm going to put a certain few maps on this, but yeah, I'm going to do it, because honestly, why not? This seems like a lot of fun. So there's going to be 5 different categories: great, good, okay, bad, and terrible. I did notice there's one map that is not on here on this list, and that is Ashran. So I'm just gonna go ahead and get it out of the way first, and I would put this in the good category. Love it or hate it. There's no in between for Ashran, but I'm one of the few players that actually loves Ashran. I would put this in the great category, but it's I'm not like super amazing and would farm it all day. I would just be glad to get it like maybe every once in a while, so that's why I'm putting it on good. My reasons for doing this are because I love soloing the rare for the ancient artifact to do just amazing damage to the enemy team. I'm one of the few players that just I don't know why I love to go solo the ancient artifact. Sometimes players come help me, but for the most part, I've been able to solo it. I soloed it in BFA, and it's a lot harder in Shadowlands, but I finally managed to do it like 3 times so far. So I love having the ancient artifact. It's just so much fun to blow other team up with the amazing power of the ancient artifact. It's just so fun. More reasons I do love all the toys and stuff there is in Ashran. None of the other battlegrounds have stuff like Ashran does. There's buffs that give you absorb damage. There's the stat buff that everybody's complaining about. There's books like where priests can fly up in the air, and if you guys have seen my priest video where I mind control people while up in the air, I love doing that. It's been the most fun I've had in quite some time. Paladins can send people to jail. There's just so much things that are fun about Ashran, and those are my reasons for loving it. Also, the fact melee do have a health buff which increases it. I've seen some melee up to 100k. Feral enhancement, Rets, and one other one. I think it might be DKs were bugged where they didn't have the buff, but Windwalkers, Rogues, of course, Rogues would have it, and Warriors had it. But they just now fixed it because I main Feral, and I was really kind of a little bit upset that Ferals did not get it, especially with the way Ferals are in team fights, and they finally gave it to them. So I'm able to actually stand up in team fights now. I've actually tanked quite a few people in Ashran, so Ashran has gotten even more fun for me because I'm main melee now. And as everybody knows, casters are heavenly and epics, so those are my reasons why I love Ashran. Basically, to sum it up, I love the Ancient Artifact, I love all the Ashran toys, I love the Ashran buffs, I love the Ashran books where you can fly up in the air and send people to jail. Obviously, it depends on your class, because I don't know what all of them are, but that's my reason and why I'm putting Ashran on good. Just imagine the pictures there. First up is Deepwind. This is in my top 3 favorites. It's not my favorite battleground, it's like my third favorite personally, and the reason why that is because I say this in every time I get this map, the cooldown resets. Deepwind is one of the 2 maps in the game that have boxes where your cooldowns can reset, and it's so fun having that double burst for for the start of the fight. Basically, what I would do is I would go in the middle, use all my cooldowns. For example, I play Druid, I pop Incarnation and Spirits, and that alone already wipes most of the team. So you grab it again and then just single-handedly pretty much wipe the entire team. Rets can do it. I've seen Rets do it tons of times. I've seen Mages do it. I've actually seen it pretty much every class do it, but considering the fact that I main Druid, I just use that as an example. So also the fact you don't get graveyard camped on this map. I love maps that you don't get graveyard camped on. I just don't like graveyard camping. Even if I do it, it's boring and not fun. So I like bigger maps personally. That's another pro. So yeah, what I like to do off camera is also camp Shrine because one cooldown reset is there, and I have had so much intense fun fights off camera at Shrine, and I just grab the cooldown resets, and it's just yeah, that's about all I can say about Deepwind. The cooldown resets, big map, don't get graveyard camp, and it's why it's my third favorite background in the game. Next up is AB. While I did say I do love big maps and you don't get graveyard camped, I'm putting this in the okay category. It used to be higher, but gradually over time, it's just not been as fun. The reason why I'm putting it in the okay category is because, like I said, big maps, you don't get graveyard camped. You can still do your own thing if your team sucks. And unfortunately, that's the reason why I'm putting it in the okay category. That's about it. There's not much else to say about this map. It's still a decent map, but I'm just putting it in the okay category for now. A lot of my friends have actually resented this map now. So, like I said, everybody's personal tastes are different. I don't personally like it myself, but I'm don't really hate it enough to put it in the bad category yet. So I'm putting this on the okay category because it's nice to get like maybe once a day or maybe two if lucky, but for the most part, that's the reason why I'm putting it on this map. It's not bad for melee, it's not bad for casters, etc. I got really nothing bad to say about AB, but I got nothing really good to say about it either. Other than I do like the new design they did back in the day, so it's pretty nice. Next up is AV. I am a fan of AV, so I'm putting this in the good category with Ashran. Again, just imagine Ashran is there. AV is one of the older maps with like Warsong and AB, and I personally like AV. It's one of the few epics that is actually melee friendly as well. I've had a lot of fun with that on my Feral, so that's pretty much my main reason for liking it. Is it's old, it's always good, and it's just nice being able to do your own thing in AV because it's so big, and there's people like always spread out doing their own thing. And I personally love to defend in AV. AV defending is pretty much what I always do in that map, and it's always worked for me, and I've always had a blast in AV, at least compared to any other map in the game. So that's the reason why I'm putting it on good. And yeah, that's it. Next up is Eye of the Storm. I have to put this in the bad category. I'm not a fan of Eye of the Storm. This is if you're I for the most part I main melee, and this is a caster heaven map. Like you could go towers. You can argue to go towers or defend as melee. Like going middle as melee is a death sentence between all the AOE and between being knocked off the map. There's just so much like not melee friendly about this map in my opinion. You could go to towers, but then people will zerg it, and you'll probably die because most of your team is in the middle. And overall, I just don't find this a really fun experience. It could be really good if you're a caster, but even then, it's just not really a fun map to me. Just because unless I feel like you're a hunter or a Elisham, then that's probably your favorite map. But there's just not. I have no good things to say about Eye of the Storm. It's not fun. I don't like personally defending Eye of the Storm. It's boring. I don't like going to middle because there's this. It's like a death sentence. Like I said, I usually try to go to the towers in Eye of the Storm, and I sometimes they get lucky and I can take the tower and win it for the team, but for the most part, the team goes back and defends it, and I can't solo a 1v4 or 5 that come back to it. And yeah, there's just it's a lot frustrating, and I just don't have a good thing to say about Eye of the Storm. Isle of Conquest, this is one that I don't mind, and it's going in the AB category. I don't hate it, I don't love it personally. So not much to say about Eye of the Storm other than I do like going on top of the Alliance Gate and sometimes as a caster and on my priest and just sniping people at the turrets. I do that for fun. Sometimes I mind control them off and send them into my team to their doom. And that's about as much fun as I like to do on Isle of Conquest. So it's the reason why I'm putting it in the okay category. It's also not really it's kind of like AV where it's a little bit melee friendly, but for the most part, it's not something I would love to spam all day like I would with maybe it's not something I would love to get all the time, basically. So that's where I'm putting Eye of the Conquest. It's not a bad Battleground, but I don't love it or hate it. So and the most of the fun is if I play melee, I would defend Quarry or Oil Refinery because it's just fun getting those 1v1s, 1v2s, 1v3s sometimes. And then on my priest, I love to mind control people while I'm on the Alliance Gate. And that's what I do for Isle of Conquest. Next up is Seething Shore. This is kind of like similar to the other maps where you either love it or hate it. I'm putting this in the bad category. And my reasons are because it's a map where it's just you go to one Azerite and you either stomp the team there or you get stomped yourself because people always go to one specific Azerite. You either find enemies or you don't. There's just so many flaws on this map. It's not a super bad map, but I don't like it. It's not really fun because, like I said, you go to an Azerite, you get jumped on by a billion people that fall on the Azerite, and then there's not much you can do because there's no teammates nearby. So, or vice versa. There's just everybody's dead. So I feel like there's no real PvP on that map. I mean, obviously, I feel like that's kind of like wrong because you're fighting for an Azerite, but I don't know. Let me know in the comment section down below what you think, but on what I said because I feel like that Azerite is just like I'm trying to think of words to describe for the map. I'm just saying like maybe the best wording is that people are just dead. And there's not much to do because everybody's all spread out. That's my thoughts. Next up is Silver Shard Mines. I feel like this is probably in the good category for me. I don't personally love it. I don't personally hate it. So actually, maybe I should put it in the okay category. But it's a decent map just because it's something different, and there's actually it's probably one of the few maps in the game that is actually real PvP because everybody's stacked on each other. So it's nice. Personally, as Feral, I do like it because I can go off and do my own thing. The people are doing their own thing, fighting for lava on water. I sometimes fight for top, ninja at last second, and get the points for our team. So Silver Shard Mines is a fun map for melee stealthers, and that's the reason why I like it. Not much else to say about Silver Shard Mines. Temple, this was map I used to hate. If you asked me months ago, I would probably put this into terrible category. But it has risen up to the ranks. I'm putting this next to Silver Shard Mines. And the reason why that is because of multiple reasons. One, if your team sucks, at least you lose fast. No other map is faster in the game, winning or losing, than Temple. Second, it is kind of a little bit of a caster heaven map, other than a few melee like Ret Paladin. But another fun thing about this map is you get to do some huge, big damage to people in this map. Between having Berserker and people having orbs, I've actually hit people for like 25, 30k on this map. It's just bonkers. I do feel like this map would have been better as a death match personally. But yeah, that's my thoughts. My only con to this map is I don't like having the orbs just because people well, it's not really the people targeting you. It's more so the fact that you take increased damage as well as reduced healing, I believe. But yeah, I feel like that map would have been a better map for a death match. Obviously, people are probably saying arena, but it would be nice for a maybe deathmatch battleground. Of course, you could say Seething Shore, not Seething Shore, Tormill versus South Shore, but I feel like that many people is too much. Maybe some similar to this. So I don't know. Let me know in the comment section down below about that idea for you guys. But either way, Temple is a pretty decent map. It's actually slightly grown on me a lot more, but definitely not enough to make it my favorites, my top three. But it's a pretty decent map. Next up, Battleground Tier. Don't even need to say a word. You guys absolutely know my channel by now. I freaking despise this Battleground. If I could blacklist anything in the game, I would say Battleground Tier. It's the worst map in existence by far. And the reason why that is because multiple reasons. One, people go Lighthouse, you get it or you lose it. You don't even get it at all, and then the team wipes the Lighthouse, or they manage to get it and then they get wiped out Lighthouse, and then get sent back to mines, and now we lose both bases, and then we lose the battleground shortly after. Lighthouse rarely works, and most of the team always goes there, and it really irritates me. If you're Alliance, you go mines, and you lose that too. It doesn't matter which faction. Second is the whole waterworks thing. I feel like if you lose the first team fight, you pretty much lose the battleground. Not always, but it's definitely more so. I would say like 99% of the time, when I lose the first team fight on Waterworks, we end up losing the battleground. And that happens more than any other map. Like, for example, if we're losing on Warsong, for example, I've seen more turnarounds on that than Battleground Tier. Same for AB, same for Eye of the Storm. Literally any other map, I've gotten more comebacks on than Battleground Tier. And It's so trash. And another thing, which you could say is stupid and minor, but I feel like Alliance can get they're easy and they can cap it before Horde can because Horde have to go through the water. And when I mark mode on my druid, I would vortex people at the water and or mass entanglement or both, and Alliance would cap it before Horde can even reach it. So yeah, there's just so many issues with Battleground S that I have, and I have no good thing to say about Battleground S. So I'm sure a lot of you guys are expecting that, but just putting that out there. Now my favorite, Twin Peaks. This is in my top two. It's tied with another, which I'm sure you guys won't be surprised. And Twin Peaks is on here because I love flag capture maps. Flag capture maps are my favorite. They're easier to carry. There's just so much more fun than any other map in the game. I feel like they're really easier to carry compared to any other map in the game. I feel like out of every map in the game, I probably have the best win rate on flag capture maps just because it's so fun defending, it's so fun bursting flag carriers down. I do have somewhat better strategies on flag capture maps if you guys seen my videos, and they tend to work pretty decently. Yeah, I don't really have anything bad to say about Twin Peaks at all. There's just so many things I love about flag capture maps. I wish I could say them in the words, but I think you guys get the point. They're easier to carry. Um, that's about it. And I feel like every class is actually good. Like for example, you could say for Temple, some specs aren't really that great, like enhancement maybe, or I don't know, maybe demo, just because like everything's gonna be like dying so fast and you'll be like caught up. I don't know. I'm just using that as an example. I feel like every spec slash class is good on flag capture maps because there's no caster advantage, there's no melee advantage, at least in my opinion. So the only maybe advantage you could say is rogue, just because of all their CCs and stuff, and with smoke bomb you can kill the flag carrier that way. But other than that, I feel like that's the reason why I love flag capture maps. They're easier to carry and everything's good. All right, I don't think this needs to be said. Wintergrass, probably the most hated battleground by everybody in this game. I loved Wintergrass back in Wrath of the Lich King, but even I have to admit, Wintergrass is terrible. It's just the worst battleground after Battlefield. It's just there's no need to be said. Offense is a joke. Defense is a joke. If you lose on defense, it's your own fault. I don't think there needs to be anything said. Wintergrass is terrible. That's about it. Last but not least, saving the best for last is Warsong, pretty much for the exact same reasons for Twin Peaks. Easier to carry flag maps. Warsong map is the best. It's an old map, and it's still to this day the very best map in my opinion. Every class is good on that map. Flag capture maps are easier to carry. Like I said, there's not really much else to say other than Warsong is absolutely the best. That's it for this video, guys. Like I said, everything is my opinion. Everybody's taste might be different, but this is my Battleground tier list on what I personally enjoy in this game the most in order. Obviously, I should probably change some of these around. There we go. And that is the order of list on the top list that I enjoy the most. Everything else is just kind of like whatever. But those are my three top favorite maps. So that's it for the video, guys. Let me know what you guys think of my list, and I'll see you guys later.